Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts I just had as I have been selling quite a few watches. I think I've been selling more watches than I still own at this point. And I just sold some really nice watches that I really liked. And to be honest, I really like every watch that I sold. I bought them for a reason, and they all had a specific part of the part in my collecting plan. But as you know, collecting is a journey. You evolve, and you want bigger, better things, or you want to focus on some different eras of it, or you just get a new piece that just outshines the other ones. That's the an important thing to remember. Often, when you sell, at the moment of getting that cash in your hands, there's going to be two opposite feelings gripping you. One is the excitement of getting that cash. It's kind of fun to sell, especially here in Hong Kong. The people are wheeling and dealing everywhere. It's a safe place to trade, and you meet nice guys. You know, they show you their watch. I remember I was showing my Grand Seiko Snowflake to a guy, a nice foreigner. I think it was American. He had the AP Ryalog 39 millimeter dual time, the one with the Jaeger LeCoultre movement that you can see in also in GLC watches and in the Vacheron. And it was great. While he was checking out my watch, I was checking out his watch, and it's become one of my I wouldn't say grail, but it would be great in a collection because it ticks many boxes. So that's part of it. And then if you manage to sell, there's the excitement of getting that cash in your hand and the possibilities that come from there. Can be a bit sad also if you've made a loss on the watch. It's even more exciting if you've made a profit, like on some limited edition Seiko, for example. And then the other feeling is the sadness. You open that box for the last time to show to the buyer, and you see that watch that you really loved, that I did a video about in my case, and that you bought for a reason, and you enjoyed and shared with other people, and say, "Oh, that's the best watch ever," and then you find yourself selling it. So at that moment is the hardest emotional thing for you to deal with, and you have to remember why you decided to sell it in the first place. And maybe it's another piece in your collection that you just got that is just a bit nicer. For me, I found by chance the blue Milgauss, which is the same construction but with more refinements as the Air King, and I just can't keep so much money in the collection if I want to move on to other things. You know, I just showed you my longer, what it was partially funded by the necessity of selling the Air King, which went to a nice lady who wanted to make a nice gift for the I think 50th birthday of her husband. So it's all good, you know, and it's people meeting people and talking about human things around those watches. So it you know, sometimes it all can make you feel good, you know, if it goes to a nice place and the guy is really happy. Other deals are a bit more bland, nothing special. The worst deal is when you sell to a guy who's just a reseller. So I do check the profiles of people who come up to me, and some even tell me they're resellers. I mean, what's the point of selling for me, selling to them and giving them a discount? So that's one part of it. The emotional aspect of selling, and I'd love to know in the comments what you think of it, because when you're starting in the hobby, it's okay to accumulate because you start with fairly affordable pieces usually. So it's all right. $300 here, $400 there. It's okay if you have some means behind to support the hobby. But when you start playing with 5 grand watches, 10 grand watches, or you contemplate a 20 grand watch, that's when you have to make tough decisions. Now, after the sale, what I like to do is go back to my watch box, and what I do often is try to imagine the perfect smallest possible collection, the one that hits all the right spots, ticks all the boxes with the least amount of pieces. And I could totally do three: one dress watch, one diver, and one travel watch, and mixing up a bit modern with old, steel with leather bands, and that you can really get by with three pieces. I'm not there yet. I would go there if the three were very expensive pieces, for example. So right now I have my longer annual calendar. Can't get better than that at the office. Then I have my Rolex Sea Dweller 4000. Doesn't get better than that in terms of divers, and that watch has really helped me just say no to many other divers that I was looking at. A nice Seiko reissue, the Panerai, the Omega Seamasters. Sometimes I look at those watches and I'm like, hey, why not? And I remember I have a much better watch in my watch box. So that's the great thing to do. And then a third watch, travel watch. Well, I have my Rolex Explorer 2 Polar Dial, which is also half vintage. It's gaining in value. It's very sleek, very easy to travel with, and it's very usable on the weekends. It's all scratched up, but in original form. It hasn't been polished. So there you go, three pieces, do everything. Now, if I had the chance to get the Rolex Pepsi GMT or the Batman or the Batgirl, oh, then it would be very difficult. Do I keep the Explorer 2 or not? Very, very difficult. So it's those things. I'm sure you do the same. I think about all day, just torture myself with that. It's hard to be content because the fun of the hobby is just going in and out of pieces, discovering many things until you find the ultimate thing. So the way I look at my watch box now, I'm thinking, is this watch the ultimate of something? Like, is this longer the ultimate annual calendar or calendar piece in general, or the ultimate dress watch in general? For me, the Rolex Sea Dweller 4000 is the ultimate diver. Okay, I've achieved that. Then you need a chronograph. I've got the Speedy Moonwatch. What else do you want? And then I weighed that against the Daytona, which is also a non-date, but that one is automatic and a classic. I guess a man at one point in his life has to own a Daytona, so I might get there. Some of them have black, yellow, and red dial, which is the Belgian flag. I'm from Belgium, and so that would be very fun for me to own that, at least for a while. But I don't see myself parting with a Speedy. So if I was to have a Daytona, I think a two-tone or even a full gold with a Neo Paul Newman dial would be, wow, really fun to own for a while. It's a lot of money to put in a watch that doesn't have a date, something that kind of bothers me. And then, I have the Rolex Explorer. I don't have to have it, but you kind of gotta have one. And it wears so great, and I love to wear it at night, or just, it's an easy pickup because you don't have to set the date or a calendar. Just pick it up, put on the time, and it never lets you down. It's always on time. And then I got that Milgauss with the blue dial. Don't have to have it, but I think in the future it's going to be sought after because they're not going to make that many blue dials with a green sapphire crystal, right? So that's the way I'm looking at collecting. Right now, I'm moving into upper price brackets usually, or just try to find really great bargains with a special complication, which I'm going to show you soon in the Jaeger-LeCoultre memo box that I picked up. And I also just picked up some Swatch watches, but again limited editions. And this time, unlike when I was a kid, I'm not gonna wear them. I'm just gonna save them and just enjoy looking at them in their box. And I think it's gonna be a great pleasure in 20 years to put them out and see what kind of value they have, whether they have or not doubled in price or quintupled in price. Who knows? There's fun at every price level. It doesn't have to go higher and higher. Some people have great fun seeking the rarest Seikos or Cartier watches, or trying to find the greatest movement, greatest complication at the best possible price. Yeah, and then there's also the idea of getting one of each, a Vacheron, an AP, a um, a Patek, and then I'm sure when you get that, you just want to get a better one. And but yeah, I'm digressing. Really wanted to talk about that feeling of buying and selling, and mostly selling, and how to cope with that. And I hope you haven't had your heart broken. So far, I've never missed a piece that I sold. I've done the same exercise with guitars. And one thing that can really help you, I've sold really nice guitars and I miss some of them. I wish I could have them all because I was really a good collector of custom shop Les Pauls mostly. And I've had some of the best. But my approach to it is I've got a better one. I need to free up the money and I've enjoyed that piece. That's an important thing to remember. I've enjoyed that piece. Now I'm moving on to something else. I'll pass it on. And I want to leave you with that thought because it's the most soothing thought if you have remorse and you want to buy back the watch. I mean, the worst thing you can do is sell to a dealer, which probably going to cost you an extra 10-20% from what you could have had taking your time selling privately, and then trying to buy it back from him, unless you have a very nice friendly dealer and you make a deal for something else, you're gonna lose quite a bit of money in there. So don't rush into going out and back into any piece. Look out for something better, something plus. Or if you really miss a piece, try to find a limited edition of it or a better year of it. Say if I was to sell, many guys they sell the Explorer 2s, the old one, 16570, and then they regret it because it's such a cool watch, such a usable watch. So they buy it back. Well, try to get the 2006 year, for example, with the engraved rehaut, like the last series of it. That way, at least you're moving on to something a bit more special while getting back into the watch that you're missing so much. All right, guys. I'll speak to you in the next one. Like if you enjoyed this little chat, spontaneous, unscripted chat. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.